KindnessCan, the podcast, with radio personality Jane Lindley Thomas and psychologist Paul Bushell. Because every act of kindness, no matter how big or small, can change lives. In this series, Jane and Paul hope to enrich your life by giving you practical tools on how to be kinder in your relationships with yourself, with those around you, at home, work, and in your community.
This week in the KindnessCan podcast, we chat about connecting and conversing around having family members that live in different spaces and places around the world during the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's my absolute pleasure and heart's joy to invite my gorgeous sister onto the KindnessCan podcast today. She's joining us all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Hi, Ames.
Hi, Paulie. Hi, Jane. Gosh, you're going to get me emotional with an introduction like that, and we haven't even got started. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I feel like, it's such an honor to be part of the KindnessCan session today, and thank you, everyone, for joining as well.
Oh, so nice to see you, and I love your red lipstick. And we're just so chuffed to be able to chat about something that has really been extremely difficult. And I know, having chatted to Paulie about being apart and away from you, the impact and how difficult sometimes day on day this whole journey of living apart from each other during a pandemic can be. So, I mean, from a brother to a sister and a sister to a brother, take us through that process.
I suppose being away from family is hard as it is. So immigration can be really difficult. But I think, a pandemic like this, like so many of us, we feel even more far away. And I think that a really comforting thought that we've always had, and I know my mum and I tell each other this often, is that we're just a flight away. You can just get on a flight and you'll be home. So I think that not being part of the equation anymore has made this even more difficult. But like Paulie was saying, I think at the start of this conversation, video calls are such a treasure, something that we've really used to stay connected and be a part of each other's lives. My mum and I do baking via Zoom. We, have lunches. So I think that, it's been hard, but I think you've got to kind of find the positives and sort of work through that.
I think as you're talking, it's a hard experience both ways. So wherever you find yourself in the story, whether you are close to what your family calls home or whether you are in a new home or a new country, I think just the experience of being separate, just not being able to get on that flight or take that train and be together is so hard. And then on top of that, have someone tell you that you can't do it is, I think for me, been really hard, because so often in my life, I like to believe that when I have a feeling, I can do something about it to make it better. And I think for many of us, whether you're dealing with loved ones far away or you're just dealing with your stuff at home, sometimes the regulations around this have taken some of that power away or that control away. And that's quite destabilizing. And if I think back on the last 5 months, Ames, in our relationship and our attempts to stay connected, sometimes felt like you've got to get creative and you've got to work really hard at it.
Well, I'm sitting here watching you two talk really makes my heart swell. And I mean, I've got a sister who lives in Cape Town, and I feel the distance between Durban and Cape Town. And seeing a sister that immigrated to Australia and a brother who's living in KZN Durban, it's hard not to feel choked up. And asking myself, with the huge vastness of water between the two of you, what do you lean on for coping? How do you cope when you get caught up in that moment that it actually grabs you by the throat? I mean, I've got one of my best friends who lives in Australia. She's meant to be home now. And when I spoke to her last week, I said, how are you doing? And she said, the thought of possibly not being able to return home until the middle of next year, it crushes me. And some days I can't even get out of bed.
I think it can be overwhelming. Those feelings can be very overwhelming. Like lots of us, flights have been cancelled, special occasions have been put on hold until we get back. So I think, like I said, I think the video calls have been a huge part of that, making sure that we still are connected and having conversations and being a part of each other's lives. I think for Nev and I, personally, running has definitely been an important part of that journey, just kind of getting out, and I think from a mental health point of view as well, just kind of giving ourselves that space to get out, move and sort of deal with deal with some of those feelings of being really, really far away. And I think it's also just been, I think it takes a lot of work and effort, I think not even just in a family space, but from a friend point of view as well, making sure that you're making those calls, you're sending flowers, you're remembering things. I think that's been really important for me, and it's been reciprocated, so people supporting us in our journey here and understanding that, and us of them as well. You really can still feel a part of each other's lives despite, like you say, Jane, the oceans between us.
So I was looking over the sea the other day. I sat there and I thought to myself, I even said to Ian, I was like, she's just there. She's right there. Can you see her? Like looking over the beautiful East Coast. So yeah, I think that feeling of oceans between is sometimes such a, seems so far in a time like this. But something that a thought that I've replaced that kind of, she's just one flight away, the thought that I've replaced that with, and I often fantasize about it, is how amazing that hello is going to be. And I play it out in my mind of all the things that I'm going to do. Like, am I going to write this on the sign? Am I going to have balloons? I'm going to shout this, or I'm going to run this. And I think for me, that is just such a beautiful thought. And when I manually direct my brain once again to connect with the hopeful, the fact that it, of course, is going to happen, and how special it's going to be because we've had to pull through this. We've had to work in creative ways to get through it. It's going to make that hello the best, biggest hello, I promise, Ames, that you have ever seen in your life. I hope you're ready.
I'm very ready.
So tell us about your running and tell us about this amazing event that you've set up.
Yeah, well, I think across the oceans, you kind of said it exactly there. I think the name evolved from just feeling like we're not that far. We're just across the oceans from each other. So I think that the name was really, really fitting. Surprisingly or funnily, the idea did come to me on a run. I often have a lot of thoughts. It's a place where I think a lot. I think my husband often feels like it's more exhausting the debrief after the run than the actual run. And talking about all the thoughts that are going on. And I suppose it came from this feeling of wanting to be connected and just that we are just across the ocean and kind of joining together and coming for a common purpose, for a goal, for something bigger and kind of reigniting all of those connections. So I think that's kind of where it started. And then I think it just kind of evolved as I obviously shared it with you, Paulie, and you were sort of on board and game. I think the second part of it as well was just kind of setting a physical goal for us as well. I think having something to work towards. So this week, Saturday, was supposed to be the end of our first lockdown. But here in Melbourne, our lockdown has been extended. So I think it was going to be the end of something, the celebration of coming together, the end of something, and we were all working towards it. So here in Melbourne, but also all around the world. But I think that's kind of what I wanted it to be, just feeling connected, that we were running, we were out there, walking, whatever it was, we were feeling like we were part of something bigger. And then obviously I think as the idea grew, being able to give back to the community felt, like such an important part of this as well. We're providing an opportunity for all of us to feel connected and have this purpose, but we were also going to be able to do something really meaningful and beautiful out of it as well.
So tell us about the charity that you've chosen and why did you choose that charity?
So we've chosen a children's home called Home Mia in Newcastle, KZN, which is where Paulie and I are from. So Newcastle holds a very, very special place in my heart. My husband and I were lucky enough to be married there almost this time last year. So it's a special place, I think, for me and for Nev and obviously for our family. And then Home Mia is a place that provides a caring and protective environment for babies and toddlers who have been abandoned or abused or neglected. I'm extremely passionate about children and education. And I think this home provides such a special and important role. And the donations that everyone so generously and kindly donated will go towards helping and supporting those children so they can hopefully go on to have really full and meaningful lives.
Is there a Facebook page, Ames, that people can go and get more details?
Yes. So Across the Oceans has a Facebook page as well as Home Mia. So they can go and check it out, see the beautiful work that they do, the beautiful little faces that are sort of featured all over their page as well.
I can't help but notice that I see your beautiful mum's face shining back at me. And it's definitely been something that has been on my mind during this pandemic as I speak to parents who have children overseas, is how a mother or a father copes with that severing, so to speak, because I think when you understand, I mean, it's hard enough dealing with the idea that your child is immigrating, but it's another kettle of fish that your child is immigrating, and now there's kind of very little certainty around when that unity or that connection will happen again. And I don't know, Debs, if you're happy to chat, or if you're not, you can either put a thumbs up or thumbs down. But how that experience has been from a mother's point of view, having your child so far away from you.
No, it's hard. I think it's really, really hard. And I think exactly what Anne said, I think it's always just over there. She's just over there. But I think now with the lockdown, it's made it more difficult because it is just over there, but we actually can't get there if we wanted to. So I think that during the lockdown, it's been a little bit more difficult. But I think also you've got to communicate all the time. So we speak every single day, video every single day, and you've got to keep those channels open. And just tell yourself all the time that you're going to see each other soon, and it will happen. And I think, you just always got to be positive about that it is going to happen. We will get to see each other all again. But it's difficult. Yeah, very.
Yeah, I think that to pop in here, and it's something that I think I've said to both my sister and my mom and lots of people who are struggling with the separation during such a scary time, is that it's also okay to have bad days. Yeah, even as a big brother, when your sister phones you and she's crying, there's the temptation, of course, to say, don't be sad. Don't be sad, okay? Because as a big brother, you want the person to be happy and you want to solve it and make it right. But it's been a big lesson for even me, and I do this work all the time, is to resist that temptation, that sometimes to say to Ames and my mom, I get it. Cry, girl. It is so sad. I feel your sadness in this moment, and that feeling is completely okay and justified. And I see it and I hear it and I hold it. So I think as much as staying positive and connecting with those positive thoughts and motivating each other are really useful tools, I think I just wanted to chip that in there, that even as a big brother, I've had to resist that temptation and kind of just sometimes let certain feelings be. And I don't know what that's been like, James.
I think it's actually been a lesson that I've also had to learn through all of this, is that it's also okay to kind of, take hold of those feelings and be okay with that. I think sometimes when we are looking around the world and we are seeing and hearing other people's stories and their journeys and their hardship in a situation like this, it's easy to be hard on yourself, to be more grateful and be more mindful of all the things that we have. So I think I've often been hard on myself, and that, I shouldn't be down today, or this shouldn't feel like a hard day because I have so much to be grateful for. But I think you make a good point there, Paulie. I think some days owning the fact that this is hard and that's okay, and having a good cry and processing and dealing with things in a way that feels good for you, whether that's, sort of meditation or yoga or going for a run, chatting to someone and being honest and open about how you're feeling. But I think it's important to take ownership and be like, that's okay. Today, it's okay that today feels harder than yesterday or tomorrow.
I mean, it's funny because we all can't wait to see each other and to touch the new normal and be around the new normal. But I'll give you an example. I've got a gig this afternoon. It's the first public gig that I've had since we went into lockdown. And I feel kind of nervous. It's quite strange. There's this new kind of precaution around me. So I find myself saying, yes, I'll do it. And yeah, I can't wait to be around people. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be around people. And then it's like getting back to the gig organizer and saying, okay, so is there going to be a temperature station, and are people going to be social distancing? And I mean, am I going to be near people? And it's quite strange because all we want is we long to be together and embrace and to hold and to feel and to touch. But at the back of my mind, there's also this thing of I'm also a little bit scared. And I suppose, Paulie, that's just going to take time and respecting that people have different ways in which, it's always that awkward thing of seeing someone and not touching them or hugging them and doing the funky chicken elbow tap. And, they've taken their mask off in the home, but you want to keep the mask on, but that's no disrespect to you. This is where I am. And it's all this social commentary stuff that really goes unspoken. It's quite confusing and overwhelming too.
Absolutely. So as much as, as a family, I feel like we've used technology well to stay connected and share a lot about our experience. It's an important thing to hold on to, that probably when we see each other for the first time, there's going to be a whole lot of debriefing and getting to know again and understanding, because although we have, as a global society, been in this sort of collective storm, we've all been in our own little ships. And so I think as much as I know for sure that I'm not going to wear a mask or have hand sanitizer and practice any form of social distancing when I see my sister for the first time, and I will run the risk of weeks of quarantine for that moment. But I think we have to anticipate that beyond that initial greeting and that being together, and of course all the familiarity and connection that will always exist, there has to be a moment of kind of like touching base on what has this meant for you and how has it changed you? And I want to hear your part of it. And I think that we can all anticipate that when we finally get reunited with the people that we love, we're going to need to make space for that. We're going to need to make space for the fact that this has changed us and affected us in very deep ways.
I believe you on everything, but I don't believe you on the hand sanitizer. Amy, he's obsessed. He hand sanitizes his hands after he's hand sanitized his hands. I'm like, but you've just sanitized your hands, mate. He loves a good sanitation.
I was so excited that I saw some hand sanitizer on the table. I was like, I'll have some of that. So Ames, tell us, if we want to participate in this magical moment of connectedness on Saturday, that wherever you are in the world, that you get to participate in togetherness, do we have to sign up? What are we going to do on Saturday? How does this event look?
All we want you to do is to get up on Saturday, to do a run or a walk as far as you can, choose your favorite route or wherever you can do that. I suppose what we are encouraging people to do is you don't need to sign up. We're just encouraging people to post a picture, post a video, post a message on our Facebook group. I suppose the only way to make it feel like it's a virtual event and that we are all connected is if we can see who's doing what and where they are. So that's, we're just encouraging people to get out there, get involved, feel excited about it, and share that on our social media.
And I know you're going to be too modest to say it, okay? So I'll say it for you. But of course, part of it is giving back to Home Mia. And so there is a Back a Buddy link that people can find on your Facebook page. They just click on, and then you can make a donation. That money will go to Home Mia.
Yes. So just if you go and like our Facebook page, you'll see the link there to the Back a Buddy. Very simple. You can just make a donation there. And we are so kind of just want to take this opportunity as well to just say a huge, huge thank you to everyone who has already made a contribution. Every contribution is going to make such a difference to little precious little lives. So we are so grateful. And thank you just for being involved and for the support and encouragement. And it's been really, really incredible. For me, I know we haven't even done Saturday, but one of the most beautiful things that have come out of this experience for me is just that you can be someone with an idea and you can really, really make a difference. And I think kindness, I really believe that kindness is a choice. And I know Jane and Paul, you spread kindness wherever you go, which is so beautiful. So thank you for the work that you do as well. But I think this whole experience has just been so wonderful to connect with people, but also to feel, proud of something that we've done and we've achieved and part of that. The time reference is going to be a little bit awkward on Saturday. Obviously, wherever you are, I think people running in the UK and South Africa are a little bit more aligned. So by the time South Africa wakes up and you will start your run or your walk, we would have been finished ours. But we'll be able to share the pictures and share the videos and still feel a part of it.
I suppose that's also difficult for people that live in different time zones, how that kind of plays itself out. When you are having a glass of wine in the evening, we're about to start our day or somewhere around that kind of thing. So has that kind of taken a bit of getting used to when to catch each other at the best time to have the most fruitful conversation?
Definitely, I think it's taken a lot of getting used to. My mum is still trying to wrap her mind around this time zone. Sometimes when it's good morning, but
yes. Drinking wine for breakfast. What's wrong with you? It's not how I raised you.
It has been tricky. I suppose one of you is always starting your day, so there's a whole different energy in that kind of a conversation as opposed to ending your day. I've definitely had conversations with friends where I'm having a glass of wine and they're having a cup of tea. So I think you make it work and you find the time that works the best. Obviously, weekends are much easier. Even the days that you don't feel like chatting, even the days that you feel tired or you feel sad, make the call, let people know, be honest about that, but don't shy away from making those connections and talking to people, even when it feels hard. And I think even in lockdown, we often feel like we have nothing to say. There's not much of a story to share, but still show up, make the call, just being in each other's presence as well can be so important and powerful in keeping those connections alive.
Well, I must say from a personal point of view, it's been really lovely seeing the two of you in the same room. And your brother loves you so much. I know that you know all this, but my gosh, he loves you and is so proud of you. And yeah, I can't wait for the two of you to be together sometime really soon.
I just also want to say that, to emphasize something that Aim said earlier on, and I know I'm a very proud big brother, so I'm going to just let it out, that I think it is incredible and it's inspiration for all of us that you can have an idea on a run of something kind that you want to do, whether that's big or small, and you can take the hard feelings and the disconnect, and you can make a powerful choice of what you want to do with it. And I feel really proud of Ames and Nev for taking this idea and just making a Facebook page and asking people to jog and throw a few coins at it. And this should not put anyone off donating, but I'm super proud of the fact that they've already reached their target. But of course, the sky's the limit on something like this. So just Ames and Nev, well done for turning something really hard into something so beautiful, and finding also a gorgeous balance between staying connected to your old home. But I know there are lots of people from Australia joining us as well, but for also just being so present and connected in your new home as well. And I think that takes a lot of courage, and I feel really proud of you for that.
Oh, look at all the love coming through on the chats. Beautiful Bushel family. Amazing, guys. Well done to Ames and Nev. Well done, Amy. You are amazing. Someone giving a high five to your mom. 2 people. Hi, Debs. Hi, Debs. 3 people. Hi, Debs. Oh, lovely. We've got Kelly from Cape Town joining us. Nice to see you, Kelly.
It's also nice to see my dad. He's joined us from London. So it's like a real Bushel affair here.
How divine.
Hiya, guys. Can you hear me?
Hey, Daddy-O. What up?
Yeah, we're fine. The sun's shining eventually. But yeah, just from my side, to both Paul and Amy, yeah, they make me very proud. I think Paul has done a tremendous amount of work in South Africa, and as well as helping us all through this. And then my beautiful Amy Sarah coming up with this brilliant idea. I wish I was fit and young like I was in my 20s, running comrades and half marathons again. So I definitely will do a walk, but I won't be running too far. But I do wish I could do the run for you. But it's just nice to be part of it and part of this today. You both make me very proud, and nice to see Mom as well. So good on you two. Well done.
Thanks,
oh, my
Dad.
gosh.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm literally beside myself. This is too beautiful. So lovely.
Yeah, on Saturday, do whatever you can. Walk, run, crawl, sing, dance, whatever you got to do. Just move your body and feel that amazing
Post a picture. Send us a video. Post a picture.
Yeah.
See it, and we want to be part of it.
Amy, thank you so much for your time today, to the whole Bushel family, to everyone that's online today. Here's to the hard days, here's to the good days, and here's to the days in between. You are so loved, and kindness always to all of you.
Be kind, everyone. Chat to you soon. Lots of love.
You've been listening to Kindness Can, the podcast. Find out more at kindnesscan.co.za.